Good morning YouTubians, it's Kermit's Ghost. It is Monday, it's a Blu-ray release day and I'm heading up to HMV to see what's on the shelves. I'm in a phone box at the moment because it's a little bit breezy on the seafront. I want the audio to be a little bit clearer. So, before I head up to HMV to see what's out, I'm only after one title today, by the way. There was going to be two, but one of them's been pushed back, so you'll see that in future videos. Also, I've gotten a parcel from Australia, from Imprint Films, to show you, and there's 9 titles in that, so it's going to be quite a long conclusion. Now, are you receiving adverts on my channel? Do you have to sit through adverts either at the start, at the end, or through the middle? I hope not. I do not monetize my channel. I don't know who is receiving money from my channel, which is quite odd. Maybe because I get that copyright notification on each of my videos. Maybe because I put the image of the Blu-ray cover up in the corner. I'm not sure, but someone is making cash out of my channel. Not sure who it is, but certainly isn't me. I want you to know I hate adverts, so I do not choose to have them on my channel. Anyway, let's head to HMV now and see what is out today. Okay, here we go. It is 8:35 a.m, so it gives me about a half hour-ish till HMV opens. Time to enjoy a nice hot latte for Costa, not a sponsor. The shutters have been raised, so let's see which t-shirt made it to the mannequin this week. Well, it is the Guardians of the Galaxy Weirdness is Everything t-shirt again. Stay tuned to see if it's still there next week. So the first new title to show you today is Babylon 5: The Road Home. It's an animated feature and sees the character of John Sheridan going through alternate timelines and realities to try to get home. That is original. Blu-ray is $11.99, which is a decent price. 4K is going for $19.99. Both of them have slipcovers. Couldn't find a DVD for this one today. And next we have The Three Musketeers d'Artagnan. It's an adventure film from this year directed by Martin Bourboulon, and this is the first of a 2-part story. Blu-ray is priced at $14.99, DVD at $9.99. There was no 4K release for this one today, and these both carry a 15 certificate. Next is a British comedy drama from 1964 called Rattle of a Simple Man, directed by Muriel Box, and this stars Harry H. Corbett from Steptoe and Son. He's a man trying to lose his virginity. Rated a 15 certificate and priced at $14.99. Another film by Muriel Box, this time The Passionate Stranger. It's a drama from 1957, and this movie uses both black and white and colour to tell its story. This one is priced at $14.99. And would you believe it, you wait for a Muriel Box film to turn up and 3 arrive at once. This one is The Truth About Women. It's a comedy from 1957, stars Eva Gabor. This one is also priced at $14.99. Next is Roman Holiday on 4K. This 1953 romantic comedy stars both Gregory Peck and Audrey Hepburn. Audrey won the Academy Award as well as the Golden Globe and BAFTA for her performance, which was the first time an actress achieved that. This is priced at $22.99. This little clip here is for the benefit of Jamie Powell. Next is a French romantic drama from last year called One Fine Morning. With this Mia Hansen-Love directed release, you get 5 art cards, and this will set you back $14.99. Next is Shine, an Australian biographical psychological drama telling the story of David Helfgott. This stars Geoffrey Rush, and this role won him the Academy Award for Best Actor. This is priced at $14.99. Next is The English Surgeon, a documentary from 2007 which follows the story of Henry Marsh. He's a neurosurgeon from the UK, and he helps people in Ukraine who are unable to get the medical assistance they need. This is priced at $17.99. Okay, so this next anime title, One Piece Film Red, came out last week, but I completely missed it. Maybe they actually put the display out after I was finished in store. This has an exclusive H&V cover, so I thought I'd show it today. And judging from the t-shirt underneath and the stand beside it, it must have been quite a big deal. So here it is today. And the film is $15.99 and the t-shirt underneath is $24.99 in case you didn't catch it. So the last title in store today is The Devil is a Part-Timer, released through Crunchyroll. This is Season 2 Part 1 and will set you back £44.99. Has 2 discs and a runtime of 300 minutes. Hey everybody, it's Kermit's Ghost. Sorry to interject, it's the 8th of August, a Tuesday afternoon, it's raining, I'm milling around my library putting things straight. Postman's just turned up with a box from Imprint Films, so we're going to take a quick look inside, and it gives me an opportunity to watch it all before next Monday. So let's go and take a quick look, see what he's bought me. Okay, so here we are. I've got this postcard, it's over my address. They didn't send that, but let's take a look. Try and undo this with one hand, not very easy. Okay, so here we go. Bubble wrap. This will be an invoice of my address. I'll put that behind Kermit. First one is, and don't worry, I'm just going to show you the titles and then I'm going to go through these in depth on Monday. First one is 4 Rooms. Okay, I have seen this film already, but I will watch it again because it's been quite a few years. Just put that up there behind the cushion. Let's put this box on the floor. Next one. Take this slides off. Oh, now I have been looking forward to this immensely. It's the Gene Hackman film focus set. There you go, there's the size. I'll show you this in more detail. Love Gene Hackman's acting. What a great actor he is. So really looking at that. It's a beautiful box set. Absolutely stunning. We'll take a closer look at that later. And, oh, I can see what this is going to be. Okay, so the next one is the Carry On Collection Volume 2. There's the films. I will take a closer look at this as well. I will be watching every single title here, and this is really good because if I take you over to the other side of the room, just move my studio light out of the way, you can see I have volume 1 and I have a few of the others as well. Hopefully Via Vision will continue putting these out because I have Carry On Jack, which is already in there. Actually, I'll make a bit of a comparison on that one as well. But these, Carry On Cleo, Cowboy and Screaming, are titles yet to come. So with volume 2 in there, hopefully they will continue and do the entire set. So that is absolutely brilliant. I've got the Gene Hackman film focus set to watch. I've got the Carry On set to watch and 4 Rooms as well. So that's me covered for the next week. I will see you on Monday with my views on the films. Hey everybody, welcome back. So there are 10 titles to discuss today, 9 of which are from Imprint Films. The other one came out today, so let's crack straight on with it. Okay, first one I'm going to show you is the Carry On Collection. This is volume 2. I am so happy to get this and show you. Before I continue though, I'm going to point out I am a huge fan of this franchise, got to be said. This consists of 4 movies. You've got Carry On Regardless, which is from 1961. Then you have Carry On Cruising, a little picture there, made the year after 1962. Then you've got Carry On Cabby, which is the following year, 1963. And last but not least, Carry On Jack from 1964. So each film was made a year after the other one. Volume 1 is available through Imprint Films. I'll put a link to their website down in the description below. Let's take a closer look at each one of these movies. Okay, so starting with Carry On Regardless from 1961, the 5th film in the franchise, filmed in black and white, directed by Gerald Thomas. As I mentioned before, he directed all the Carry On films, apart from Carry On Columbus, which we won't mention. Stars Sid James as Bert Handy and his secretary, Miss Cooling, being played by Esme Cannon, who pops up in Carry On Cruising and Carry On Cabby. She made 4 films. Together, they run an employment agency, and it's a complete shambles. They take on several employees, like Sam Twist, being played by Kenneth Connor. You've also got Francis Courtney, being played by Kenneth Williams. You've got Gabriel Dimple, who's being played by Charles Hawtrey. Lily Devine, played by Joan Sims. But you've also got the character of Hattie Jakes as the nursing sister who pops up when Sid's character is mistakenly given a tour of the hospital. So you've got a lot, but not all of the regular cast in this one. There's also Patrick Cargill, who went on to have his own TV show, Father Dear Father, 7 years later. And he pops up in the Carry On film, Carry On Jack, as a Spanish governor, and I'll show that in a little bit. There's also got Stanley Unwin in this. He was quite famous for a made-up language called gobbledygook. He was on TV a lot in the 70s. He was also in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang as the Chancellor of Bulgaria. This film follows Bert and his agency. He gives jobs to various employees that aren't quite as advertised, with comedic results of course, but it all works out in the end. Music in this is by Bruce Montgomery, who worked on 6 Carry On films in total. This has got a runtime of 90 minutes and the picture quality is excellent, as are all the films in this collection. Let's take a look inside. So that front cover image has been put onto the disc, and you have a snapshot from the film on the reverse of the cover. So that was Carry On Regardless from 1961. Okay, next one is Carry On Cruising from 1962, and this was the first coloured Carry On film. We see Sid James taking the role of Captain Wellington Crowther of the SS Happy Wanderer. Unfortunately for him, some 5 of his regular crew have been replaced, and they turn out at first to be a little bit incompetent. It's only because they're trying to impress a new captain a little bit too hard. Once they settle into their new roles, it becomes a little bit more smooth sailing, but before that happens, the captain accidentally gets knocked out and covered in food at a party for the guests on deck. The new head chef, played by Lance Percival, who gives an audio commentary in this, suffers terribly with seasickness. He's a great character. He starred in the Frankie Howerd Up franchise, great films. Jane Sims isn't in this because she was a little bit sick before they started filming, and neither is Charles Hawtrey because he wanted top billing in this film and they wouldn't meet his demands. Everybody knows that Sid James gets top billing. Kenneth Williams plays the first officer, Marchbanks, who is always putting his foot in it. Watch the Tables Tennis scene if you can online, which reminds me, Esme Cannon reappears in this as Bridget. She's a sweet old lady who just seems to make everything a little bit more complicated than it needs to be. There's also Kenneth Connor as the ship's doctor, Dr. Arthur Binns, who is in love with one of the passengers named Flo, played by Disley, who has got an absolutely beautiful smile. Her and her friend Gladys, played by Liz Fraser, are on the cruise to look for love. It's a fun film, light humour, no violence, no nudity, few innuendos here and there, but that's what you get with Carry On films. It's got a runtime of just 86 minutes. Let's take a look inside. So a partial image from that front cover has been put onto the disc, and there's a snapshot from the film on the reverse of the cover. So that was Carry On Cruising from 1962. Okay, next title from the box is Carry On Cabby from 1963, and oddly enough they reverted back to black and white for this one. Most of the regulars are back. There is a new addition in the form of Jim Dell, who went on to star in 11 films in the franchise, including Carry On Columbus, which we won't talk about. In this, he's got a small part as an expectant father. Now, the film follows Sid James's character, Charlie Hawkins. He's the owner of a successful taxi company, and his long-suffering wife, Peggy, being played by Hattie Jakes. She gets annoyed when he's always late home due to his commitments with the company, and he fails to take her out one day for their wedding anniversary, and she decides she's going to get revenge and open up a rival taxi firm, luring all of Charlie's customers away. And she's got a secret weapon. All of her drivers are attractive women, and let's just say they've got very nice uniforms. Now, Peggy tells Charlie she's getting a job, but she doesn't reveal what it is, much to the annoyance of Charlie, and it's not long before her taxi firm is driving Charlie's into the ground. I'm not going to say any more than that. I will point out Kenneth Williams isn't in this one because he thought the script just wasn't good enough. I don't know why he was thinking that, because it's a really good film. Esme Cannon and Bill Owen's last Carry On performances are in this, and they made 4 films apiece. Still no Joan Sims though, she was still suffering from ill health. She does return in Carry On Cleo 1964. Hattie Jakes regarded this as a very favourite of the Carry On franchise. This one's got a runtime of 91 minutes. Let's take a look inside. Well, again, partial image from that front cover has been put onto the disc. And a snapshot from the film has been put on the reverse of the cover. You've got Hattie Jakes there in the black, you've got Esma Cannon there, and you've got all the lovely ladies of the taxi firm behind them. So that was Carry On Cabby from 1963. The last Carry On title in this box set is Carry On Jack, and again we're back to colour. I believe Carry On Spine, which is yet to come, is in black and white, so maybe it was a cost issue with the studios during filming, who knows. Now this does have a UK release, but if you want the other 3 films, then this is the best way to pick it up. So 1964, and it's notable for having a lot of the regular team missing from it, so there's no Sid James, no Hattie Jakes, no Barbara Windsor or Joan Sims, but we do have Kenneth Williams as Captain Fearless, happens to suffer from seasickness and a yellow streak, and there's a new face as well to the series, Bernard Cribbins, who actually provides an audio track on the extras. He's Albert Poopdecker, who he's in charge with rounding up his men who are all drunk. He's a new midshipman on the ship Venus, and he's very underqualified for the job. Whilst in the tavern of Dirty Dick's, he meets Sally, who steals his uniform, takes his place. She's trying to track down her old lover. Sally's being played by Juliet Mills, who is Hayley Mills' older sister. Poopdecker does manage to find himself on board after being press ganged alongside Walter Sweetley, who's being played by Charles Hawtrey. And Sally and Poopdecker end up as a couple. Now, I'm not going to give anything else away, but mutiny is afoot. Now the picture quality on this is very good indeed, but despite most of the regular cast missing, doesn't feel lacking at all, although Sid James would have made a good captain, or Roger the Pirate. Also features Jim Dell as a small role as a sedan operator, and Patrick Argill, as I mentioned in Carry On Regardless, is the Spanish governor. This one's got a runtime of 1 hour 30 minutes. Let's take a look inside. So again, partial image from the front cover has been used on the disc. And on the reverse of the cover, there's an image from the film. You've got Poopdecker there, he's giving a piggyback to Captain Fearless, and they are both walking the plank. So that was Carry On Jack from 1964, and as regards for comparison with the English version, it's pretty much the same. All that's changed is the menu options. So that was the Carry On Collection 2. Okay, so on to the film focus set, which features Gene Hackman. Now before we look at each film individually, let's take a second and admire this beautiful box set. Okay, so I've got to say the picture doesn't do it justice. In hand, this is probably the best looking box set I've ever seen. Very sturdy, lovely images. You know how much I love that angled hinged top. Each film comes in an individual case, which is a must for me. We'll be looking at each of these individually in just a second. On the back there's this card that's just held on with a spot of glue. You just take it off, lists all the special features, and you just pop that inside. Films going there, so it's a nice little keepsake as well. So yeah, let's take a look at each of these individual titles. Okay, first title is I Never Sang for My Father. It's a drama from 1970, released 1971 in the UK, directed by Gilbert Cates, that's uncle to Phoebe Cates. Now alongside Gene, you've got Dorothy Stickney, who lived to be 101 years old, good for her, and double Academy Award winner, not to mention his nomination for this, Melvyn Douglas, and together they're Gene's mother and father, Tom and Margaret. And the film opens up with Gene, who's actually called Gene in the film, conveniently enough. He's picking up his parents from the airport. They've been on vacation to Florida. He's taken them out for dinner. His father is quite a character, kind of grates on Gene's nerves. Now, it's little things like his dad sitting in front of the TV all evening and then complaining that his son never visits, that kind of thing. Gene just wants to live with his girlfriend, but things get complicated when his mother, Margaret, dies of a heart attack, leaving Gene to kind of wonder what he's going to do with his father, who is as stubborn as a mule and quite nasty with it at times. Then you've got the arrival of Alice, Gene's sister, who advises Gene just to walk away from his dad and live his own life. Alice is being played by Estelle Parsons, who's worked with Gene before actually on Bonnie and Clyde, where they were husband and wife, Blanche and Buck. Now, Alice has been disowned by her father Tom for marrying a Jewish man, so there's no love lost there at all. And although it's not really a plot to this film, it's just, think of it as a slice of life of like a family at their lowest. Acting never lacking, the picture quality is as sharp as a pin, and it's got a runtime of 1 hour 32 minutes. Let's take a look inside. So the front cover image there has been put onto the disc. You've got Melvyn Douglas alongside Gene Hackman. And a screenshot from the film has been put on the reverse of the cover. So that was I Never Sang for My Father from 1970. Okay, next one to show you is Bite the Bullet. And this is a western from 1975 but set in 1906, towards the end of the Wild West era, so you do see the odd automobile and motorbike. This one was written, directed and produced by Richard Brooks. Now he's the director of Cat on Hot Tin Roof, Blackboard Jungle and Fever Pitch. Now this one stars Candice Bergen playing Miss Jones, who is a very capable cowgirl. She's got a little bit of a hidden agenda going on in the film. James Coburn playing Luke Matthews, Ian Bannon playing Sir Henry Norfolk. He was in Mel Gibson's Braveheart. He was Robert de Bruce in that one. And Jan Michael Vincent as Carbo. He's this cocky wannabe gunslinger. He's got a good story arc with him though. Gene, by the way, is Sam Clayton. Sam and Luke are old friends. They're former cavalrymen and they've a little bit past their prime, it's got to be said. Story itself centres on this actual event of a 700-mile race across the country with a prize fund of $2,000, and the race is grueling and hard on the riders and their horses. You do see horse falls, Jan punching a mule and a snake, a real snake, getting its head cut off, all of which were cut from the UK versions. Film gets a title from a Mexican rider who's got toothache and he's chomping on various objects through the film, including a bullet. On a side note, there's a lovely sweeping score by Alex North, and there's also Dabney Coleman who pops up in this as Sam's old boss Jack Parker. And you know Dabney from 9 to 5, he was that sexist boss Franklin M. Hart. He was also in War Games as McKettrick, and most recently he was John Dutton's dying father in Yellowstone, bless him. Now, despite scenes of animal cruelty that are sprinkled throughout this film, I did enjoy the story and the acting. Coburn and Hackman worked really well together as old friends, and Candice is very easy on the eye. Picture quality, excellent, couldn't fault it. Got a runtime of 2 hours and 11 minutes. Let's take a look inside. So that lovely front cover image has been put onto the disc, and there's a snapshot from the film on the reverse of the cover with Gene and Candice. So that was Bite the Bullet from 1975. Next one to show you is a neo-noir thriller from 1977 called The Domino Principle. It's directed by Stanley Kramer, and you'll know his work. He did Ship of Fools, It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. Great director. He's done many fantastic films. Now in this, Gene's playing a prisoner called Roy Tucker, and he's in for murdering his ex-wife's husband. Candice Bergman's playing his ex-wife Ellie. One day out of the blue, he's called into an office within the prison to talk to a couple of shady government officials. One is called Tag, played brilliantly by Richard Mark, and the other one is Pine, played by Edward Albert. And after a series of interviews, they offer him this opportunity to get out of prison to work for them. He's offered a new identity, money, passport and a house in exchange for him being their hitman. Roy's got a cellmate called Oscar, played by Mickey Rooney, and he's a little bit dubious about Tag's and Pine's offer, and Roy insists that Oscar's release is included in the deal, and immediately after getting out, Roy is double-crossed and Oscar is shot in front of him, so it seems. Roy has no choice but to go along with the situation. A few days later, he's in his new house with his ex-wife Ellie, and things are starting to work out for him. And then things get complicated when Tag and Pine show up and they want Roy to hold up his end of the bargain. It's a neo-noir, so expect the worst-case scenario. It's a great choice for the box set. Gene Hackman commands the screen, and Whitmore is brilliant as that shady government official. Candice, very good and lovely on the eyes as well, and Rooney always steals the scenes that he's in. Picture quality crystal clear, and it's got a runtime of 1 hour 41 minutes. Let's take a look inside. Front cover image has been put onto the disc, and there's a screenshot from the film on the inside cover, and there's Candice and Hackman enjoying their freedom while it lasts. So that was the 1977 neo-noir thriller The Domino Principle. Last film in this box set is a Jerry Bruckheimer produced and a Dick Richards directed film. It's a war movie and to some degree a treasure hunting movie called March or Die. Made the same year as A Domino Principle, which was 1977, set just after World War I. Follows Gene's character, Major William Foster. He's a commander of the French Foreign Legion. He had 8,000 men in his charge, all of which were slaughtered, save 200. And as a result, he's become a little bit distant, a little bit unfocused, turned into the drink. Upon his return to France, he's reassigned to Morocco with new troops, and added to his duties, he's ordered to escort an archaeologist called Francois Monnieu, who's being played by Max von Sydow, to a dig site to find the Angel of the Desert. Now, included in his troop of soldiers, you've got Marco, being played by Terence Hill. You'll know him from the Trinity films. He steals at every scene that he's in. And you've also got Ivan, a giant, played by ex-boxer Jack O'Halloran. He was Non in the Superman films 1 and 2. En route to Morocco, his train stopped by El Krim, being played by Ian Holm. And he warns Foster to return back to France, or he and his men will be met with force if they continue along the way on their journey. And along for the trip is Madame Picard, being played by Catherine Deneuve, whom Marco has been trying to get with as much as he can along the way, much to the annoyance of Foster. I'm going to leave the story there, but everybody knows the stories of the French Foreign Legion, one of the most grueling units to serve in. There were two endings for this film. This one is a theatrical cut, not the television cut, thankfully. This one's got a runtime 1 hour 47 minutes, all but 18 seconds. Picture quality is crisp overall, but a little bit of grain from here and there. Let's take a look inside. So the front cover image has been put onto the disc. So you got the Commander Foster there giving Marco a rough time because he's a little bit unruly. So that was a 1977 war film, March or Die. And that was the Film Focus set of Gene Hackman. Okay, so on to the last title that Imprint have kindly sent me to show on my channel, and it is Four Rooms. It's a black comedy from 1995. It's got four co-writer directors at the helm, and they are Robert Rodriguez, Alexander Rockwell, Alison Anders and Quentin Tarantino. And the film is set on New Year's Eve on the Hotel Monsignor. New bellhop being played by Tim Roth. It's called Ted. He's taken over from Sam. Ted is essentially watching over the hotel, but it concentrates on four rooms. Each story is from a certain director, so separate stories woven together, one common thread, and that is the bellhop. So in the honeymoon suite, we've got a coven of witches. This one's directed by Anders. The witches are trying to lift a curse. They've got this huge cauldron in the middle of the room. They've collected all the ingredients for the spell, apart from one, and it's quite an important one. It's sperm. And the witch in charge of that task did have a good excuse, got to be said, and it's not long before Ted comes to the rescue, pun intended. Task is complete. Madonna's actually amongst these actresses in this one, and I think she won the Razzie for this one. So we move on to the next story, which takes place in room 404. Directed by Rockwell, this one. It stars his then wife Jennifer Beals. Ted turns up. He's mistaken for a man called Theodore, and he's accused of sleeping with the guest's wife, Beals, who's tied up in the chair. All becomes a bit surreal, and after it's revealed that it's a test by the husband, and then Ted manages to get out. Next room's 309, titled Misbehaviors. This one's from Rodriguez. Stars both Antonio Banderas and Selma Hayek. Hayek's only on the TV screen within the room now. Ted's asked to babysit his two children whilst his parents attend a party. The children are like the spawn of Satan. They destroy the room. They find a dead prostitute under the mattress or inside the bed itself. The prostitute is played by the director's sister, Patricia. Next room on that is called The Penthouse, and this one is from Quentin Tarantino. And he also stars in this one as a famous director, obviously. And he makes a bet and ropes in Ted on as one of the referees. I won't say any more, but this one stars Bruce Willis as well as uncredited. Probably wise, as it's an awful film. Acting is incredibly bad, especially from Tim Roth, oddly enough. Stories are daft, characters are unlikable, but picture and sound, I can't fault it. Absolutely brilliant. This one's got a runtime of 1 hour 38 minutes. Let's take a look inside. So the slip box and the cover have exactly the same image. Just the title on the disc, and on the reverse of the cover you've got some titles available and some of the cast members. And look at Tim Roth's face. That just shows you the kind of acting he was doing in this movie. So that was Four Rooms, and a big thank you to the team at Imprint Films for sending these over for me to show on my channel. Okay, next and last is a new release of the day. It is Three Musketeers d'Artagnan. It is a French action adventure film which is going to be followed up on the 13th of December with a sequel titled Three Musketeers Milady. And they were filmed back to back with a combined budget, I believe, of 70 million euros. Now the title character is being played by Francois Civil. He provided the voice of Buzz Lightyear in the French version of Lightyear. Vincent Cassel plays Athos, Romain Duris plays Aramis, and Pierre Marmet is Porthos, and Eva Green is Milady de Winter. D'Artagnan wants to join the Musketeer Regiment, and did you know that D'Artagnan was an actual person? Born 1611, died 1673, aged 62. The regiment itself didn't protect the king personally, as they were often young men and they were hired out to lower nobility. The King's Guard would guard the corpse. Anyway, I'm digressing. D'Artagnan gets on the wrong side of Athos, Aramis and Porthos, sparking a duel which impresses the trio, making them their instant friend. There's also a plot involved in Milady, who's trying to get rid of the Queen, Queen Anne, who's having an affair with a British Duke, and that would be disastrous if the King found out. Vicky Krieps is playing Anne, and Louis Garrel is playing King Louis XIII. All fun stuff. I'm looking forward to this one. I've watched a fair few Three Musketeer stories in my day, and I've got quite a few in my collection. I've enjoyed each and every one. It's got a runtime, this one, of 121 minutes. Let's take a look inside. So on the disc you get the title and a brown background. So that was the Three Musketeers d'Artagnan. So before I go, a big thank you to Imprint for sending me all those films. I really do appreciate it. And that is it. Have you seen any of those or plan to pick them up or want to leave a comment, and do so down below. I will read every single one and try to reply if I have the time. Give the video a thumbs up, it really does help the channel, and subscribe if you haven't. It's all free, why wouldn't you? On that note, all that's left to say is thank you so much for choosing my channel today and watching my video. Take care. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.